Good morning. First, I'd like to ask, whose bright idea was it to bring a loud crying baby to today's presentation? I was. I am Amanda Burns, and I'm delighted to speak before you today. I would first like to recognize my guests in attendance for all of their love, support, that's you, knowledge, and friendship. Thank you to my superintendent, Dr. Ron Hatter, my assistant superintendent for curriculum, Lisa O'Shea, the principal of Crumpon and the person who nominated me, Dr. Lori Roberts, my director of technology, Patrice Hattie-George, my good friend and member of my technology department, Lana Magro. I would also like to recognize my family in attendance, for without them, I would never be standing here. My parents, Carl and Maria Bolson, my sister and lifelong friend, Katie, my incredibly supportive husband, John, who allowed me countless hours of alone time to make this presentation possible. And my daughter, Lillian, who you all probably met, who is my inspiration to continually be a better me. As they say, it takes a village. I am so blessed that you all are a part of my village. I would be lost without you. Thank you also to the LHRIC for today's event, and congratulations to all the other recipients. When prompted with the task of building a presentation around achieving this award, I was stumped on where to begin. I'm not a huge fan of talking about myself, nor do I think what I do on a daily basis is anything extraordinary. In fact, it wasn't until about 3 weeks ago I even learned I was nominated for this award. To say I was shocked is an understatement. I do what I do because I love helping people. I love making a positive connection with others, especially when it comes to technology. I love the idea that with the help of technology and STEAM learning, we can all change the world, no matter how old or young we are. I am absolutely honored to help represent all the incredible learning that is going on in Yorktown Central School District. I am proud to accept the award of Outstanding Innovative Teacher on behalf of everyone who embraces all there is to learn about technology. Whether you are a student, teacher, leader, family member, or friend, you are here today because you have made a difference in someone's life. For most of us, this has to deal with technology. I would like to now share with you my story and what got me here today. When I pondered on ways I could share my personal life with you, these 3 photos came to mind. These 3 photos are just a small representation of my upbringing, schooling, struggles with societal views of female and technology, and my present joy and hopes for the future. The picture to the left is of my first day of school. You can see just how happy I was. Also pictured in the photo is my younger sister, Katie. Not so happy. Ever since I was little, I always said I wanted to be a teacher. In fact, I wrote it in every school yearbook as my dream job. As kids, Katie and I would play schoolhouse all the time. She would be the student and I would be her teacher. I just loved the idea of helping her learn. As I grew older, I had an extreme interest in tinkering with the electronics and an obsession with anything technology. In 9th grade, I insisted my father buy us our first family computer so we could do our schoolwork digitally just like all the other students. After selling him on the idea, we purchased one and it quickly became my favorite device to play on and work with. I often tell my students to think about life in the 90s and ask them to think about how different my education would have been had I had earlier access to a computer and internet so readily as they do now. The second photo is a picture of my first college graduation, where I studied computer networking. I attended a very intimate college where you traveled from class to class with your classmates based on your degree for most of the duration of your studies. During my 2 years there, I was the only female day student studying computer networking. In fact, several times I was asked whose books I was carrying when others would see me holding an A+ or networking textbook, followed up by their disbelief that women could be interested in technology. Here is a sad fact. Did you know that in 2017, New York had only 5,232 computer science graduates, only 21% were females. In 2018, women made up less than 20% of U.S. tech jobs, even though they made up more than half of the U.S. workforce. This needs to change. In May of 2006, not having even graduated, I was approached by our career department for a technology position in Yorktown. It was as if I had won the lottery, a real tech job, with benefits, before I had even turned 21. Even though when I first started working, the direct focus of my work was on software and hardware, it has now truly evolved into my passion, ed tech. 13 years later, I am so proud to say I am more in love with my job today than I have ever been. Lastly, the photo on the right is of my pride and joy, Lillian. Although Lillian is only 17 months, she is already capable of somehow navigating the TV to her favorite Sesame Street shows, taking random selfies on mommy and daddy's phone, and just recently, she started shouting, "Goo goo, goo goo," at our Google Home in hopes of hearing her favorite song, Baby Shark. My husband John, pictured in the back of my college photo, and I have been surrounded by all sorts of great technologies for so long that it only makes sense that our child be a mini expert too. She is my inspiration to continue to strive for greatness in all that I do. Oprah Winfrey once stated, "Leadership is about empathy. It is about having the ability to relate and to connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives." I found this quote to be quite fitting for today's event and specifically my presentation. At Yorktown, we are the home of e-STEAM. At Yorktown, we aim to center our STEAM education around the concept of empathy, where each student is challenged to reflect on the why during the entire learning experience. We often ask them to think of a real-world problem and figure out how they can fix it, make it better, what makes it important, or how they can relate to it in their own experiences. Through project-based learning with many different technologies, students learn to make connections to today's world and how they can make a difference with their creations. When we talk about e-STEAM, our goal is to not analyze each project to see how you can find examples of empathy, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math in it, but rather looking at the project as a whole, where all of these subjects are intertwined into an activity for students to truly enrich their learning. This is an ever-growing list of technology tools we use to enhance learning within Yorktown. I always tell my teachers and students these are simply tools. It's all about how you use them that matters. The goal is not that everyone learns every tool, but rather they find a tool that best fits their task and in return has an even greater product. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So rather than talk about these tools, I'd like to share with you a video I created of them in use by staff and students throughout Yorktown. While observing, please take note of the collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity that each person expresses.
Call my
probably 25 times. I did realize I made a mistake in the word digital, which is eating me up. But every time I watch it, I cry at night, I cry in the morning, I cried on the way here. These reactions from both students and staff are truly my why and what makes me feel so happy to be employed with the Yorktown Central School District and to have worked with them for 13 years. The lyrics that you see before you are the lyrics to the song I played in my video, A Million Dreams, sung by Pink. I'm not sure what you think of when you lie in bed, but I know I often think of working constantly how I can do something new or different to make an impact on the people I am with. My why is based off of my ed tech journey, both the challenges and the rewards throughout life and during my 13 years at Yorktown. I will continue to strive to ensure we are making a difference in education now. So when children like my Lillian go to school, technology, STEAM, and computer science are not topics talked about, but rather naturally woven into their day-to-day lifestyles. If we want to build world-changing students, we must continue to help them seek the why in their daily challenges and ensure empathy takes the lead in all that they do. Thank you.